Yo, Joe, Phantomaniacs, and welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I have saved the most controversial for last. It is time now to review the darling of the internet, Vincent R. Falcon. Falcone. What a clever code name that is. So he's just looking miserable, sad and miserable on that box art. Box art here, it's, you know, a remnant of the line. It's going away, this individualized, unique box art, which I like. I don't feel like it works as well on the windowless packaging as it did on the previous stuff. I've got his specialties on the side. Go to gijoe.com to check those out. And then here's the image of the figure, which I gotta say, this guy is not photogenic at all. All of the, like, everybody who's been complaining about his portrait, pretty much every picture you see online supports those complaints. This is one of the instances where I have looked at the images and have not felt, whoop, there goes CoverGirl. Let's set her over there. This is one of the instances where I look at the image and I'm like, yep, I see what they're talking about. This guy is rough. So I'm interested to see him in person and sort of be able to develop my own thoughts about the choices Hasbro made with this portrait. And I will agree. I think that Falcon, you know, not everybody needs to be a model in G.I. Joe, but I do think Falcon should be like a handsome young man, especially being a lieutenant. You know, the young part. But Falcon, I feel like, should be kind of handsome. I don't know. We'll see. I intentionally just flipped him over really quick because I want to get a nice, long, lingering look at this mug before I make any decisions about how I feel about it. And the original Falcon figure, while, you know, I was not a huge fan of the character because of the way he was depicted in the movie, the original Falcon figure, I loved. So first off, the elbows. The elbows don't quite match, but it's not as bad as Outback. And the knees look like they're going to be okay. Oof, I don't know how I feel about that. All right, it's time. It's time for the reveal. There's no more delaying. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So, I mean, what you guys are looking at right now is the same thing everybody's been looking at, you know, online. It's one of those things where until you see it in person, you really just can't tell. And it's funny. I'm looking right now. I'm looking back and forth between the figure and the image on my screen. And the figure, straight on, look, I wouldn't have necessarily gone with this look for the portrait, but even right now, looking back and forth, he looks so much better in hand than what I'm looking at right here on the screen in front of me. I don't understand how this works. He's like, remember in Final Destination, how their faces got like blurred up on the, man, his hips look so much better than CoverGirl's though. Like that's such a more acceptable gap. They really kind of messed that up. In Final Destination, how once they were marked for death, their faces like blurred out on the screen. That almost feels like what's going on with Falcon here, because he doesn't, his head just doesn't look as old and fat in my hand as it does on the screen. This is bizarre. Okay, whatever the case. It's not my favorite portrait ever, but it's fine. I do wish they'd ease up on the lips a little bit. I could do with just a little bit less color in the lips. Like about half that pink would be better. It's fine. It's fine. Hair looks great. I really like the haircut. They've got the sort of buzz at the bottom, a little longer on top. Looks really great. So let's get into the rest of this figure. Same complaint that I had with Outback. Gosh, doesn't he look odd? Doesn't his plastic look kind of weird? He's got shiny knees. It looks like he's about 6 different plastics. His torso is shiny like his knees. His thighs and his calves are like dull. His arms are a different kind of dull. Huh. You know, I've barely even messed with the articulation on this wave because I've been so fascinated by the wave itself. Man, one of those knee joints always, look at that. Oh, brutal. One of those knee joints always wants to be stuck. Man, the non-shiny plastic is almost like wax. It's really bizarre. There must have been, people have been speculating that there was some kind of factory change or some weirdness. Look at that. The bottom of his blouse doesn't really match anything. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just taking in all of the differences in textures and glosses and everything else. Look, his this doesn't really match this. He does have camo on the crotch piece, so that's, at least that's there. That's good. I gotta say, portrait-wise, could have been better, not bad. Honestly, almost would make a better Flint. I have seen it said, and I kind of agree. Design-wise, he's great. All of the parts are what they should be. I don't know how you achieve this without doing that, but it doesn't even line up, like, profile-wise. This is sticking out further than where this part goes into the belt, so it doesn't look right. I don't know. I cannot claim to be happy with this guy. Let's try and move around the rest of his articulation. He's fine. Everything moves actually better than some of the other ones do. All right, so that's the knees. I'm going to have to play with those a little bit, but everything else seems to be moving fairly well. Look, his boot covers look great. Look at the sort of clasps on those. That's a really nice touch. Looks cool. He's got nice thick soles on his boots. Now, I'm a little disappointed in the unpainted bottoms. That's a little lame. I haven't seen anything that feels quite that cheap and classified, I don't think. That's an oversight to me. His camo is just muddy. Again, we need more contrast in that camo. The neckerchief isn't super bothering me. A lot of people have mentioned how it doesn't sit low enough. But yeah, I don't know. When you've got the straps up, it's okay. It could be better maybe, but I don't hate it. I wonder if, no, you couldn't put it around the collar. It really did kind of just need to be sculpted onto his shirt, but then this would be all new tooling and they couldn't have reused this. So that would have been a money thing, but it kind of needed to be, well, I don't know. That's not, honestly, it's not bothering me that much. Web gear looks good. Well, here, we got to let's do this. Again, look at the contrast on the original figure's camo versus this just muddy green guy. This is not one of the most exciting original G.I. Joe figures, although I did love the camouflage figures, but like, this Falcon is not particularly awe-inspiring, but compared to this hunk of mud, I think he looks... This is a much more interesting figure, visually. I think they could have made his web gear A little more of this lighter color, I think, would have been nicer, but definitely Hasbro. I know you guys are paying real close attention to my reviews. Hasbro, we need more contrast in the camo. You got to do it, because this guy just looks boring. All right, let's stand him off to the side over here. Hope he doesn't fall on his slightly less than handsome face. Number 64, Vincent R. Falcone. Pretty thick feeling bag of accessories. All right, that's everything. So his loadout is looking pretty good. Oh man, that's a cool shotgun. This radio pack. Let's get that beret on his head. We got to make Noel happy and get the beret on his head. Oh man, I'm not getting that on quite the right angle there. Shouldn't that flash be... That should be more off to the side, but then the... I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure how... Well, that's not right. Now it's never going to look right to me. I feel like the flash is supposed to be directly over his eye. Isn't that a thing? But that doesn't look right, does it? That looks weird. But it's like that's more right. This peak is like a little high. And I think maybe that's what's... The beret is making his head look fatter and more squat than it actually is. And I think it's because of this peak being so high right here. Kind of weird. I don't know. But it fits perfectly. The color matches the neckerchief, which is cool. I appreciate that. We've got his signature backpack, which it would have been cool if it had a removable radio in there, but that's okay. We do have a lot of great paint on here. The rope, the canteens, in little paint here on the top of the radio is a great, kind of unnecessary, but great touch. And a beautiful sculpt on this thing. I really like the squareness of it. I actually like that it's kind of more squared off than the original Falcon. And then you've got the sheath, which rather than being clips is actually a sheath for great looking, unique looking knife that does match that original knife pretty well. So that's cool. I like that. That's a great addition. It's a little loose in there. I got it in the right way? Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's a little loose, and that hilt looks super tiny. Is he going to be able to hold this? Not really. Why did they make that hilt so small? Like, I could just about put that in the O-ring. All right, are you guys ready for a feat of daring and perhaps stupidity? All right, never mind. I was wrong. It will not fit into the O-ring figure's hand, and I'm not going to force it anymore. But that is a tiny, very small. All right, so let's get the knife back in there since it's not going to go in his hand at all. And backpack pegs in very nicely. Oh, and there's an added feature right there, something to help out a little bit, is the backpack. If you push the web gear, the belt down to where it's supposed to be, the backpack is actually going to plug in and kind of hold that into place a little bit. So that's better. That's a good thing. And you know what? Weirdly, he looks better with the backpack on. Like, that adds to him a little bit. Oh, no. Oh boy. Everything feels a little cheaper and a little looser than past classified figures. All right, and then finally we've got his shotgun, which is very different. For CoverGirl's shotgun is actually more like Falcon's shotgun. But this is cool. It's got the shells back there. It's got the stock that folds in two different places. It looks really cool. It's a cool looking shotgun, but honestly, I might swap and give CoverGirl this one and give Falcon hers. If Falcon even makes it to the shelf. I'm just kidding. He's gonna be on the shelf. But he can hold it perfectly. Gosh, that backpack peg could be just a little bit longer, I think. This is not my least favorite Joe Classified figure, but there are a lot of misses here that I feel were pretty easily avoidable. I wouldn't mind seeing him redone with a little more attention to quality and certainly in some different colors that contrast and stand out a little bit better. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people are saying he is, but he certainly is not one of the best of the Classified series. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things, and as always, yo, Joe!
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.